Hello, and welcome back to a Network 216 YouTube short series. I am Nick Carnes, and I am here to talk to you today about the running backs because it's no secret, and people have been talking about this a whole lot now. As we get closer and closer to that final 53-man roster, what are the Browns going to do with running backs, right? Because they actually have the opposite problem that a lot of teams do. You got four backs, and honestly, if you think about Demetric Felton as well, I mean that's a fifth one. So there's been a lot of speculation. Who's going to make the roster? Are there going to be trades? Remember, there was that picture with Nick Sirianni and Kareem Hunt. There's been speculation that D'Ernest Johnson could be the guy that gets traded because the Browns have this embarrassment of riches, especially with Jerome Ford showing out so far in preseason. So that brings the question then: what do the Browns do at running back? There's a lot of arguments, but I'm going to give you one that I hold personally. We all know that Deshaun Watson is out for 11 games now, and Jacoby Brissett, no slouch in his own right, is not Deshaun Watson on the field, and so he's probably going to need as much help as he can get. I think it is in the best interest of the Browns and the best interest of the 2022 season to keep all four running backs. And as far as I actually have Demetric Felton making the team as well, but more of the gadget returner type, because once Jakeem Grant went down, it certainly made the roster a lot more makeable for Demetric Felton, in my opinion. But I want to just go through a couple of it. Obviously, nobody needs to say anything about Nick Chubb. He's under contract. He got paid. He's in year 2 of that deal, and we know Nick Chubb's going to be here. Nick Chubb is arguably one of the best running backs in the NFL. There's no question there. So then, obviously, you get to Kareem Hunt. And no disrespect to Kareem Hunt, he could start on a lot of teams in the NFL, probably most of them. And we saw it when he was a rookie. He led the league in rushing. Well, you could go back to 2020 before he dealt with some of his own injuries. He was actually the best running back on the team. If you look statistically, he was right there with Nick Chubb, and he was outproducing him in yards per carry and a couple other metrics. And that's no knock on Nick. But the point is, Kareem Hunt was certainly making his presence known in the Browns backfield. And I think, especially when you consider that the quarterback play is going to be a little bit more limited, the offense makes so much more sense for the Browns, and their chances of success are so much greater if you have these two towering running back ones in your backfield. And then we haven't even gotten to, and don't forget, on Kareem Hunt, in 2020, he tied for the NFL lead in receiving touchdowns by a running back. He tied with Alvin Kamara. Kareem Hunt gives you a whole entirely different element. And I would argue D'Ernest Johnson, while great in his own right, is not Kareem Hunt in terms of receiving ability. So I think Kareem gives something unique that none of the other running backs offer. And to me, I just don't, there's not, with the way the running back market is, you're probably not going to get a very high pick back for Kareem Hunt, even though we just said that he could start for the majority of teams in the NFL. So where is Kareem Hunt more valuable? He's probably more valuable in your backfield, giving you greater value than you could get back for him. And regarding D'Ernest Johnson, yes, Jerome Ford has come on, and that's a credit to him. But we've seen what D'Ernest Johnson can do. D'Ernest almost single-handedly beat the Broncos himself. I believe he had 147 yards rushing and was really the star of that Thursday night show on a very beat-up Browns team that in a win that they had to have. D'Ernest Johnson helped them get there in dominant fashion, and it was really great to see. D'Ernest is cheap and young, and he's been in the Browns system, and we've seen what he can do. Remember when Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt were banged up, D'Ernest had that huge game against Dallas as well, where I think he averaged like 9 yards a carry. We've seen D'Ernest step up in spots that the Browns have needed him, and injuries to running backs are super unfortunate, but they happen all the time, right? Because running backs take some of the most punishment in the NFL. So when you're looking at the Browns team and you're saying, we must be strong in the run game, I think the most sense it makes is to keep these guys because each one provides you with a separate set of skills that all have been dominant previously. And then you get to Jerome Ford. And obviously, we've seen him in the preseason. He has looked fantastic. There were some questions. Do the Browns need to draft a running back? Well, when he steps on the field, you see why Andrew Berry drafted a running back. I think the Browns are best off. Their best chance of winning is keeping these four guys together. This has been a Network 216 YouTube short. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Nick Carnes. Go Browns.